It's really funny how much entertainment is just so crucial to our life. And actually, that's what I was thinking was I was thinking about music. Like not a lot of people don't know is like I've played music, been a musician most of my life, and I really love music. But I feel like I'm going to get judged by the musicians in the room when I say this, and I accept your judgment. But I know I'm a 47-year-old man, but I really love John Mayer. You know who John Mayer? Yeah, she just judged me so hard there. Like John Mayer's a musician. You know, he's been around for probably, good God, 15 years. He started off as like one of those like bubble. You like John Mayer? Yeah, thank you. Well, she's judging you. But like so, and he did all that. You know, girls were all like, oh my God, you know, he's singing all those songs. But what a lot of people didn't know, and I didn't know either until later on, like he is a really skilled musician. Like he's like, not many people get this, but like he is an insanely good guitarist, like top tier insane guitarist, which, you know, I'm a guitarist, and some of the stuff he can do is like only a few people like in musical history has been able. He's just insanely talented, and he's a really good lyricist. Like he's a good poet, and he comes up with, now when you gotta look past some of his like bubblegum stuff, but like especially some of the stuff like I would say the last half of his career has been really like deep stuff, been really like impactful stuff. And like for example, when it came out that he was actually a really good blues musician, or like he really liked blues a lot, which is like kind of my, like you can't be a light bubblegum person and not with the blues. The blues is real. And so when he came up with that, that's when I think really things started to change for him. But like He's trained. He went to Berkeley and Boston. Now he quit, but that's whatever. But like he's trained, so he's a real live poet, musician. He's the real deal. And so like there's this one song he has called "Belief Can," right? And the first time I ever heard it played was actually live when I saw him in concert one time. But the lyrics are like super deep, like super deep. Like there's one in the opening line. He says, everyone believes in something from emptiness to everything, and like that's real. Like so, like there isn't a person alive, whoever's been alive, whoever will be alive, that doesn't believe in something. Like even like an atheist, they believe that there just isn't a God. I mean, they believe that, and so that was such a true statement. And I think about all the things that we believe in, especially this type of year with like political figures, or we believe in ideas, or like I love, one of the things I always love a lot is like, sometimes we talk, especially in Christian circles, like, do you believe in evolution? Like, how do I believe in it? I don't know. I mean, it's like it's a scientific theory. I don't know. But like, we just believe in so many things. And when you really start thinking about it, like belief is an insanely interesting thing as a part of our humanity. Like, and to be honest with you, it's like an insanely powerful thing, belief is. And ultimately, I mean, and we really start thinking about it, belief has like real and lasting consequences. So, like he said, there's another lyric in there. This is where it gets a little political, but he says, and it just hits you out of nowhere because it's in the last half of the song. He says, what puts 100,000 children in the sand? Belief can. You know, what puts a folded flag inside a mother's hand? Belief can. I'm like, ooh, that's deep. You know, and like, because like I think about that statement, like a mother or like a parent who has a child. I mean, your whole purpose to exist is to protect that child. But there comes a point, there's some things like, I'm willing to give my kid's life for this. And it's like, that's a powerful belief that we would give our lives to something, or give other people's lives to something. And that's why I think about belief. It's just an interesting thing. It's a powerful thing. And it really impacts our life. Let me give you now that was deep. Let me give you a funny one. So when I was in seminary, I went. There was this one professor I had named Bob Tuttle. He was a nut, like he was crazy. Like you were talking about dancing around. I'm in a seminary class, and we started dancing one time. It was just, he was just reading the sermons, like busting the Holy Spirit bust out, and we started dancing. I'm like, what is going on here? This is weird. But he was an insanely smart, famous guy. And an interesting thing happened. The college folks will get with me on this. So we were reading the syllabus, and it was an intensive. It was only 4-week class. And we were having the intensive part in the first week. And so we were looking at the syllabus, and the syllabus said our final was that Friday before we left. There were still 3 more weeks of classes left, 3 more papers. we had to read, about 3,000 or 4,000 pages of material. But our final was that Friday before we left. And so, you know how that happens in syllabus. They're never right, And so somebody was brave enough to raise their hand and go, hey, it says our final's on Friday, but that can't be true, right? And he goes, no, that's right. I'm like, well, we didn't expect that. And then somebody was bold enough to go, that same person, like, well, we haven't wrote our papers, we haven't even finished the class yet. And he's like, the Holy Spirit will give you everything you need. I'm like, what? I paid $4,000 for this class. I need you to tell me what I need. I don't know what the Holy Spirit's going to do here. I mean, the Holy Spirit's not going to take my test or write my papers. But he was dead serious. He was dead serious. And and sure enough, I took the final. Everybody took the final, and we passed. And we wrote our papers, and all that's kind of good. But when I walked away from that, I mean, it's a funny story. It's a crazy story. But the one thing I walked away from it was I really wish I believed, like Bob Tuttle did, what the Holy Spirit could do. Because I didn't. But obviously something happened, right? Like that belief is so powerful. And that's why I think belief is such an interesting thing, a powerful thing. I mean, it's clear that we can believe in something so much, it will influence how we think about others. It will influence how we think about ourselves. And you ever wonder what beliefs believe in? Do you ever wonder, like if a belief can believe in us? Like beliefs are so powerful, and we think that we give them the strength, but I just wonder if it's the opposite. What if it's the beliefs that actually do the believing, or actually are the powerful part of things? Let me try to explain what I'm talking about. So, obviously in the Bible, there's a lot of stuff about belief, a lot. And so, and there's a lot of stuff about how powerful beliefs can be. But there's this interesting part I've started to see, especially in Jesus' time, where beliefs actually believe in us. And so, I see this in Matthew's gospel. When we talk about the Bible, this is a library, and Matthew's interesting because it's a eyewitness account, and it talks about Jesus' life, his ministry, his miracles. And that's one of the books where the feeding of the 5,000 happened. And there's this weird thing that happens after Jesus and the disciples feed the 5,000, feed a whole bunch of people out of nowhere. And it's in Matthew 14. And it begins in verse 22. And this is right after Jesus, they fed the 5,000. Matthew wrote, immediately, Jesus made the disciples get into the boat and go on ahead of him to the other side. There was a big lake, and he needed to go on the other side while he dismissed the crowd. And after he had dismissed them, he went up on a mountainside by himself to pray. And later that night, he was there alone, and the boat was already a considerable distance from land, buffeted by the waves because of the wind that was against us. There was kind of a little storm going on. It was a big lake, this lake they had to go across. And then Matthew wrote this. Shortly before dawn, Jesus went out to them, walking on the lake. Not normal, in case you guys don't know. And so when the disciples saw him walking on the lake, they were terrified, because you should be when people are walking on water. And they said, very normally, they said, it's a ghost. And they cried out in fear. But then Jesus immediately said to them, take courage, it is I, don't be afraid. Okay? So it's storming, they freak out, like all these things, they have fear, there's a dude walking on water, and Jesus says, hey, don't, calm down, I know this is weird. Just take courage, everything's going to be fine. Everything's going to be fine. And then Peter says this right after that. He goes, Lord, if it's you, tell me to come to you on the water. And then Jesus goes, okay, come. Then Peter got down out of the boat, walked on the water, and came toward to Jesus. Now, that is a little weird. It is a little kind of out of the blue, because, it's weird that Peter if it was normal, if dude's walking on water, you could say, hey, okay, so if you can walk on water, can you calm this down? Can you just pick up our boat and put it on the other side? Because he obviously believed enough that Jesus was powerful enough to walk on water. why didn't he just say to do that? But no, he said something totally different. He said, I want you to tell me to walk on water. And he did, right? The belief was so powerful that he got out and he walked on water. Do you see what I'm saying? It's like belief is such an interesting thing. It's a powerful thing, and it impacts everything. But then this is what happens after this crazy, crazy thing happens. We're going on in verse 26. But then Peter gets out there and he starts walking, and when he saw the wind, he was afraid and began to sink and cried out, Lord, save me. Now, so immediately Jesus reached out his hand and caught him, and he said to him, you of little faith, why do you doubt? And then when he climbed back into the boat, the wind died down. Then those who were in the boat worshiped Jesus, him, saying, truly you are the Son of God. That's a really weird thing that went down, right? Because, so Peter had the belief for just a second to go, not ask for the calm the waves, anything like that, but to say, hey, just tell me to come out to you. Let me walk on water like you. And he gets out there and he does it. And then he's there and he looks around, sees the same thing that he saw as before, and he starts to sink. And then Jesus looks at him like, bro, what happened? Why did you doubt? I mean, you didn't doubt 5 seconds before. Why did you doubt now? And see, and this is what's crazy to me. When I read that, I realize something super important. Jesus didn't doubt Peter one drop, at all. And Peter didn't doubt Jesus either. So Jesus didn't doubt Peter, and Peter didn't doubt Jesus. The only thing I can walk away from is Peter doubted Peter. Because he believed in Peter enough for that moment to walk on water, and then he didn't. And that's why he sank. Do you see what I'm talking about? How beliefs are just so interesting and powerful? And what I walk away from this is when I think about how we think about beliefs, I think the power in beliefs is not that what we believe or where we believe or who we believe in. I think especially when it comes to as a Christian, as a follower of Jesus, it's who believes in us. And I think that's one of the things we totally miss. We totally miss. We think we have to get all these things right about what we believe, and then we totally forget that the thing we believe in is actually a real live person that believes in us. And so I think about that all the time. It's whether you believe in Jesus or not, and I say this to a lot of people, do you know that Jesus believes in you? Think about it a minute. Here, let me tell you why this is not just a New Testament thing. This is a from the beginning of time thing. And so it's very clear that God wanted us involved in all of this. Not just to be puppets, but to be partners, right? So we're made, we're given all this authority and power and all this thing, and then we just say, nah, we're going to do it our own way, and things gum up, right? And then see, a smart God would be okay, wipe it clean, start over. But no, God's oh, man. Okay, well, let's try again. And then we screw it up. Oh, man. Okay, let's try it again. Let's try it again. And it's story after story in the Old Testament is us going, we believe in God. Oh, we don't. And then, but God always comes back and goes, hey, I'm still here. I still believe in you. We can still do all this over and over again. The power is not in what we believe or who we believe in or where we believe in. It's all in what God believes in us. That's where the power of the belief is. So I don't know where you stand in that, what you believe in or who you believe in, but whether you believe in Jesus or not, Jesus believes in you, and it requires none of your effort to change that. That is just something that is true. And so when we think about what we're struggling with say a relationship in our life, whether you believe in Jesus or not, Jesus believes in you. Jesus believes that you are capable of infinite forgiveness. Infinite forgiveness. Jesus believes that you are infinitely able to restore whatever is broken in that relationship, whether that person broke you or whether you broke them. He 100% believes in that. It doesn't matter whether you believe in it or not. Your work, whether you believe in Jesus or not, Jesus believes in you. You may think you're stuck in a mindless job, whatever, but God gave us He believes in this enough that we're here to help restore the world. The whole earth is going to be restored through us, through partnering with Him. Or as a parent, He gave us the power to share and create life. And whether we believe in Jesus or not, Jesus believes in us to be able to raise them and to teach them and to help them become everything that God made them to be. I haven't told, a lot of people don't know this. So I'm going to tell you something let me tell you why this is so important for me, and how I experienced it like in my life for the first time. So I think I might have told you, I did a lot of drugs for a long time, 14 to my 30s. And, I was a Jesus follower well into my drug abuse. I just was like, became a Jesus follower, did all the things, but I was like, I can still do drugs, it's fine. And I did a lot of church stuff. But then I remember there was one time that, because I was one of those people that stole things from people, because drugs are expensive. And so everybody's got pills, so you're going through somebody's cabinet, and you always find what you need. And so I did. Opened up the cabinet, found what I need, closed it. And it was a time in my life where my daughter was like 1. And so here I am, holding my daughter at 1 year old, active in the church, doing all these things, and I got a bottle of pills in my hand that I'm stealing from somebody. Now, what I should have heard was, you are like a piece of crap, man. Like, what is wrong with you? Like, you're horrible. You're holding a daughter, you're stealing, and you claim you're a follower of Jesus? You want to know what I heard? I'm telling you, it was crystal clear is what I heard. All I heard was, oh man, that's not who you are. You want to know what got me clean? It wasn't AA or NA or any of the things that we do to get clean. It was Jesus saying, believing in enough in me is like, yeah, it's not who you are, man. It changed everything. Because it didn't matter what I believed about myself. Jesus told me what he believes in me. And so, that's how powerful beliefs are. And not from the standpoint of what you believe, but what Jesus believes about you. And I can promise you, there's something in everybody's life here that we're struggling with. And I know that whatever it is that you think is completely hopeless or helpless, or you can't get past it, Jesus believes enough in you that you are going to solve it, that you have the power to overcome it. So beliefs are an interesting thing, a powerful thing, and they can change your entire life if you can wrap your mind around that they believe in you sometimes more than you do. Let me pray. All loving, all powerful God, I give you thanks for Matthew, who wrote down this crazy story about feeding people and walking on water and sinking, and I'm so thankful for Peter that he walked out on that water and showed us what we're capable of. But I'm more thankful for Jesus, who time and time again showed us it didn't matter what we believed about ourselves or what we even believed, who we believed in. It's that God, that the Holy Spirit believes in us, that we really are sons and daughters of God, that we really are capable of being full of love and joy and peace and patience and kindness and goodness and gentleness and self-control and mercy and grace. Everything we see of Jesus, this is who we are. This is the image we're made in. And that image, that person believes enough in us that they don't doubt for a second what we're capable of. And so I pray that everybody in here, as we struggle with one or many things that we're struggling with, that maybe we change our thinking just a little bit, or maybe a lot. That we're not going to believe ourselves out of the issues we have, because there's something or somebody that believes in us enough that we already are out of it. So I pray that we'll accept that the creator of the universe believes in us enough that they repeatedly hand the keys over to us, repeatedly believe in us and hope for us and love us and care for us, so that we can become everything that they know we can be, that we were created to be. Give us the wisdom and the courage to believe that beliefs believe in us. And so I pray this all humbly in the name of the Father, Son, and Holy Spirit.
Blessed be the time.